is maybe
So
or
that,
something.
Recording is on. Hey.
that is strange because those files are included, like we render the parts of libunwine that we use. And I'm curious why that would suddenly be failing. If not defined using such long jump exceptions. Okay.
I mean, some of the stuff I could pull to develop that, because like that's not necessarily related. But remember, right now, develop is only doing the Mac build because we turned off the other builds.
Yeah, I can fix that.
So it could have been broken some other, like it maybe is broken develop too, is what I'm saying.
I'm guessing that was we just haven't built it on Linux yet. I guess I don't know. I thought we had built the libunwine stuff at least once on Linux because you had put in some effort to make sure it was installed. But
yeah, that's the weird part about it, is like specifically I remember having to get libunwine working. So it's weird that it's now broken in a like partial way,
yeah,
where like libunwine is there but not one of its headers.
yeah. Oh, it's not the libunwine that's installed. You don't actually have to install libunwine for our stuff. I guess it might be needed. Oh, it's probably needed for the Rust runtime, I guess. But this build that's failing is the libunwine that we've rendered because we only use a subset of it. But I can fix that. I think I see what the problem is. So I can check out your branch and just push a patch for that. And then, yeah, if you just like send me your notes or the issues that you're hitting, then when I get an opportunity here in the next 2 days, I'll see if I can jump in there and troubleshoot and fix it.
Okay, I'll do that.
If there's anything I need to know to like, get up and set things up for your branch, like I don't know how much work in progress stuff you have hanging.
No, I think I have the whip push. I'll double check. I've been pushing it, and then extracting out commits when it's done. Mostly the whip has like it has debug statements so like it only builds for WASM right now, because it calls websys without protected like config is the big difference on the whip part.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely do that. For my part, I pretty much have the built-in stuff done for the receive and binary construction pieces. The only part that's really left for that is testing it. And then I also need to go back and revisit the pattern matching lowering because I had omitted basically the bulk of that for binaries. But that's pretty straightforward to get wrapped up. Actually, I may have already addressed that a while back. I need to double check. In any case, if that's done, then I think pretty much everything else is wrapped here. The part that I need to test more is the stuff around like processes spawning and such, but I just haven't had a whole lot of time in the past week to dive into that. So it's been kind of like snatches of time when I can find it.
When you do the process spawning, are you going to call the spawn function in the runtime, or are you going to do it from LLVM? Like in the lowered code?
So I will be calling a built-in that may just delegate to whatever is in the runtime.
Okay, so one of the important things about spawning that like I had to double check with like how Beam does it, maybe you would already knew this, but like if you do a spawn with a MFA and it does not exist, like it has to error in the same way as if you called apply 3 in the child process. So like, I know
is that
you don't
the case
technically
with
have to
spawn or spawn link?
technically spawn link, but like I made them all behave the same way. Because we log all exits right now in the runtime, and so like it has to error in the same way. It acts as if you called apply 3. Like, so you don't have to call apply 3, but it has to look the same, like the same error message
I
has to
just
come out.
tested it, and Beam raises a. Wait, actually, hold on a second. Is that actually the case? Yeah, okay, so it doesn't actually fail in the same process. It does
Right,
print
it
an
doesn't.
error
It doesn't.
report, but
Right, it doesn't fail in the parent, which is the important thing. Is one, you don't check that the spawn, the MFA will exists until you're in the child, and then the child acts. It has the same semantic behavior as if you did apply 3 in the child.
right, yes, okay.
Yeah, I accidentally did it the parent way one time too, because I'm like, oh, I know it already. I can just check it, but that's not how Beam behaves, so you can't do it that way.
Yeah, there's basically no reason for us to not follow the Beam semantics there anyways.
The only time I can see where it'd be okay for us to go against it is if at compile time we can say it would fail, because then our compiler is better. We just can't at runtime have the parent fail because the child doesn't exist.
And I think we probably will do those kind of compiler errors just because we'll be able to, but I think most cases where spawn is used or spawn like is deep in abstractions where you're just working with, completely dynamic names. So you have no idea what's actually being called at that point. Constant propagation might be able to fix that. But that's not something that's, necessarily easy to find on the surface. We have to rely on compiler optimizations to kind of bring that forward. But yeah, I'm not planning to like re-implement anything around process spawning or whatever. Mostly just calling the runtime functions. But since the spawning pieces tie into the scheduler, the built-in is interacting with whatever scheduler is active. So the built-in is based on the current scheduler, basically.
That is one thing that is on my branch right now, is that even though they have different code, they both have the same signature. So like, it's not a trait. It's just that like they're on the same path and they have the same function name and they take the same function signature. So it's trait-like without being a trait, because since they're
there's not really any way for us to like make it a compiler enforced signature there. We just have to. I guess we might be able to make that work somehow. If our schedulers implement a trait, which I believe they do, that exports the function that we expect. The problem is I don't know how traits and like extern functions really play together, and it seems like more effort than it's probably worth. Mm-hmm. It's something that doesn't change at all really once it's been implemented. So if it was something that was more prone to that kind of change, then I'd be a little bit more concerned about trying to give us some safety measures there. But
yeah, so if you need it, you could base off of my branch if you need it, and then it would already be changed so that it's compatible for both sides to use it.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. I will probably just have it point to your functions. I'm testing it with my branch right now just to make sure that all the changes I've made play nice together. But the first thing I'll be doing is pointing those functions or those built-ins at the runtime work that you've done. So I'm expecting to have that done this week. So, but since we're coming up pretty close on that conference, I don't want Hans to feel antsy about not having the stuff that he needs to work on his talk. So
yeah, if I do end up being on client work, I don't think I will have the time to get the minimal running BIFs, since right now even if the PR getting like WASM spawn chain work, I haven't done that part of writing Erlang code to make sure the BIFs are callable at this point. So I wouldn't have Hans depend on that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with just doing the IR stuff. I'll just have them change the title and stuff and just make it primarily that, I guess. Less about Lumen and more about this.
Yeah, and I mean, EIR is a large part of Lumen, so I think that definitely counts and is certainly of interest.
You could still name drop in the subtitle like EIR, the front end that Lumen uses, or some phrasing like that, where like it uses both EIR and Lumen, so that people still know, oh, it's Lumen related.
Yeah, definitely. Like this is the Lumen. This is the front end for Lumen, basically the compiler front end and middle end. Yeah, definitely makes sense to like maybe even have it in the title. I don't know.
Your call, man. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we had outstanding from last week that we were planning to talk about. At some point here in the next couple weeks, we should probably update Rust and fix any breakages that we have. Have you guys checked to see if the alloc ref stuff is more or less stabilized around the current API?
No, I haven't checked.
I should probably double check.
Look.
I do know that they finally more or less stabilized the new inline ASM syntax. So at some point, I'll probably port over to using that. From what I can see, it should support everything I'm doing with it. So the only thing that I'm not 100% clear on is whether or not it supports all the architectures that we need it to support, but we'll see.
The new is the new ASM stuff in nightly only, or is it in stable as well? Was it released?
It's nightly only, but so
Okay.
is the old stuff. So it doesn't make too much of a difference from our perspective, but it is in the latest nightly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been there, I think, for a little while, but I think they published something this week about it because it's not only in nightly, but it's also kind of like the version that they're attempting to stabilize. So, yeah. Guess there was nothing else that I could think about at the moment, but if we get that updated before the conference, then if people, like if we have the compiler at a point where people can start actually compiling like full Erlang programs, then people may want to download and play with it. So if we want everything to kind of work out of the box, we should try and make sure that people can just install the latest nightly and start playing with it.
It does look like there are a couple of changes left on the alloc stuff.
Anything major?
So coherent design of global alloc and alloc. Allocation promises with global alloc allocator. I don't know, like from this titles, if this actually requires any changes to the traits themselves, but
I'll go and double check because I'll be able to tell if it's going to break anything for us. If there's no actual API changes, then it should be mostly transparent to us.
Yeah, I think he's mostly just implementing the trait on like the global system allocator stuff. I don't know.
Oh, like having the standard library implement those traits for global alloc, because it doesn't today, I don't think.
So. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and then it'll probably be a little while before those two dependencies of ours, hash brown primarily, I guess, implement the PRs that you had opened with them. So that may not matter for our stuff.
When if the traits turn out to be mostly stabilized, then just updating hash brown, like updating the PR, and then trying again and see if they want to accept it now,
Yeah,
I guess.
that would be nice to have that out of the way. It's been kind of a thorn in our side.
Did anyone see if on the like chain of all the allograph stuff, if they said they would bring back being able to set the allocator for vect? Because remember, it was in temporarily and they took it back out.
Oh, Ravec supports it. I don't know if they're going to change the actual VEC implementation. It might actually already.
Isn't there an issue where it would break something because, like, in some place, default traits like that are not supported?
It might be.
I remember that incorrectly. I think there was something like that, like a breakage. The reason why they removed it, so like some small like corner feature needs to be added to properly do it. I don't know. I might remember wrong.
Yeah, it's been a while since I looked at that, but I definitely know that all the infrastructure is there. It probably is just a matter of time before they actually do it.
Yeah.
On the WebAssembly side of things, I haven't had a chance to like post another issue about the stack primitive stuff, but I'm thinking it might be good to talk with the folks from Twig and try and coordinate a little bit with them. If it's something that they're interested in lending their voice to, then.
Were you on the WebAssembly CG like 2 ago? Not just like I wasn't the one that just happened, but the one before that, I think
So.
Or I don't know if it was during the meeting that I missed or like at some conversation that wasn't in the issues, but it seemed all of a sudden that like people had much more confidence that stack switching would be implemented. And I couldn't follow why they thought that. So I don't know if it was like a on the side conversation, because sometimes Ross Tate talks to people,
right,
offline in emails, and then all of a sudden it becomes like a much more sure thing. So I would, but if it, especially since the stack switching is an Andreas Rosberg like feature he wants, I feel like if people say it's a sure thing, it's a much more sure thing since he is the overall like spec writer.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that he's had in mind for quite some time. Well, yeah, I should probably go and catch up on those conversations to see if there's anything like meaty there. My guess is that, yeah, they talked about this in person a few times and all that context is lost. It's very annoying when they do that. But, regardless, if there's not enough information, then I can at least message specific people and be like, hey, what's the actual status of this? And go from there. But, for now, at least I'll be starting to work on the WebAssembly stuff without that present. We'll just have to cope with that. But that's going to be my next major priority, is trying to get that pushed through one way or the other, or at least get the ball rolling. I don't know how much active management it's really going to require on our end, but it seems like if people aren't constantly like, hey, when's this going to happen? It's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't become like the GC proposal where they're trying to propose other MVPs after having the thing for 2 years, which is disheartening.
Yeah, I kind of understand why that one's gotten bogged down so much, because it's just such a complex beast and everybody has different ideas of what they want it for or what they think it should be doing. And I have a feeling that all those different perspectives have kind of dragged it out much longer than it's needed. But it has been dependent on other proposals getting pushed through, which has slowed it way down to like the AnyRef and FuncRef stuff. But now that stuff's more or less, I think, been stabilized, agreed upon, then I think that's more or less done now. Or, you know, the GC stuff is actually happening rather than waiting on something. All right, well, I don't really have anything else for now. If you guys don't.
Are we thinking still do this next Wednesday, or Hans, do you need us to adjust the timing at all in order for you to get what you need for Thursday and Friday?
I haven't checked when exactly my talk is, but I'll keep you up to date in the channel
Okay.
as soon as possible. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll send you both a message when my changes are done, and you can experiment with my branch, Hans.
Yeah, awesome.
And then me merging my stuff with Luke's work, I'll just do on a separate branch. That way, at least, you know, my compiler branch remains stable.
Do you have
while you're poking around with it?
Do you have any changes to IR? That
I believe I might have some small ones. I'll
Okay.
double check. Nothing major.
yeah,
Just probably
I'm
like
curious.
small things because I needed like an API that wasn't public or something. But I don't know. You had gone through recently and made a bunch of changes. Yeah. So looking at this, I have one commit.
Okay.
Oh, that's just my merge actually. So that's the main thing, I guess. I merged the changes from master into my branch, and I probably resolved a few changes there.
I mean, we could probably.
I haven't
if
pushed
that's
that yet.
If that's the only thing, then it might make more sense to just like change the head to master and then just cherry pick the changes to hash bound, because I think that's the only thing that's not in master.
I had some commits on my branch that I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to.
We'll look at it.
Yeah, we should do just a diff with master from the Lumen branch and see, you know, if there was some fix I had to do. I think I had to port some changes, but it's been a while since I did that merge, so I don't remember 100% what it was. Actually, it looks like, man, what the hell? Did I? Oh, okay. So I did push that branch already a while back. So if we were to do a diff now, I guess the main thing that I don't know if it made it into your changes or not was the diagnostics changes.
Oh yeah, all of that is in master.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure like the only commit that's not on master right now is the hash brown stuff, like strictly cargo tumble.
Yeah. I'll basically just do like a build against the master branch of VIR and see if anything breaks, and if not, then we're good to go.
Yep, that sounds good.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, talk next week.
Talk to you later.
Bye.